What's good, YouTube? Sensational Sincere's here, and I'm back with another Tom Clancy's The Division Bender Reset video. We're here for December 13th, 2019's reset. So let's get right into this to see what we got good for this week. Okay, so for our first gear items, we're going to head over to Camp Hudson. Here, the gear vendor has a prototype firearms mod with 265 firearms and 3% skill haste. For our next gear items, we're still at Camp Hudson, and here the weapons vendor has a SR7 suppressor with 17% crit hit damage, 2.50% crit hit chance, and 2% accuracy. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to the base operations. Here, the Dark Zone gear vendor has a prototype performance mod with 3.50% turret damage. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. Head over to the weapons vendor, and if you still like to run the Navy MP5 in, we got one here with a gear score of 273. It has 21% crit hit chance, and the talents it has is vicious, competent, and capable. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations, and the gear vendor here has an operator pack with the talent specialized on there. It has a gear score of 272. The armor is 1,264. Its roll for stamina 1,149, and the attributes it has is skill power and bleed resistance. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. Head over to the advanced weaponry vendor here, and they have a Super 90 with a gear score of 257. It has 295% stagger, and the talent it has is competent, ferocious, and responsive. For our next gear items, we're still at the base operations. Head over to the special equipment vendor, and here we got a Liberator with a gear score of 278. It has 20% enemy armor damage, and the talents it has is adept, predatory, and vicious. Also here we have a first wave Vector 45 ACP with a gear score of 275. It has 21% crit hit chance, and the talents it has is fierce, ferocious, and unforgiving. Also here we have operator pack with the talent Relentless on there. It has a gear score of 267. The armor is 1,202. Its roll for stamina 1,175, and the attributes it has is health and bleed resistance. For our next gear item, is going to head over to the cavern. Here, the gear vendor has a prototype performance mod with 7.50% mobile cover health. For our next gear item, is going to head over to Camp Clinton. Here, the special equipment vendor has a Liberator with a gear score of 273. It has 19% enemy armor damage, and the talents it has is unforgiving, dominant, and brutal. Also here we got a Historian with a gear score of 268. It has 149% headshot damage, and the talents it has is fierce, swift, and Historian repeats. Also here we got a Cassidy. It has a gear score of 259. It has 304% stagger, and the talents it has is commanding, ferocious, and boomstick. Also here we got an AUG A3 Para XS with a gear score of 275. It has 19% crit hit chance, and the talents it has is destructive, sustained, and responsive. Also here we got a tactical ACR with a gear score of 283. It has 23% enemy armor damage, and the talents it has is deadly, adept, and prepared. Also here we got a classic M44 Carbon with a gear score of 269. It has 148% headshot damage, and the talents it has is toxic, brutal, and ferocious. Also here we got an M249B with a gear score of 268. It has 19% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is unforgiving, deadly, and predatory. Also here we got a Spec Ops mask with the talent refreshed on there. It has a gear score of 276. The armor is 985. Its roll for electronics 1,252. And the attributes it has is exotic damage resilience and blind death resistance. Also here we got an operator pack with the talent specialized on there. It has a gear score of 270. The armor is 1,265. Its roll for firearms 1,138. And the attributes it has is health and bleed resistance. Also here we got a prototype stamina mod with 250 stamina and 3,063 skill power. And then also here we got a prototype performance mod with 4.50% support station healing speed. For our next gear item, is going to head over to Wolves Den. Here the weapons vendor has a classic RPK-74 with a gear score of 266. It has 21% damage to targets out of cover, and the talents it has is competent, sustained, and prepared. And then also here we got a small red grip with 19% crit hit damage, 2% accuracy, and 4.50% optimal range. For our next gear items, we're going to head over to Autumn's Hope. Here, the gear vendor has a Spec Ops armor with the talent Rapid on there. It has a gear score of 274. The armor is 1,889. Its roll for stamina, 1,268. And the attributes it has is enemy armor damage, health on kill, and increased kill XP. Also here we got a prototype performance mod with 3.50% mobile cover damage resilience. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to Madison Stand. Here the gear vendor has a prototype performance mod with 4% turret damage. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to the Grindhouse. Here the weapons vendor has a military M60E4 with a gear score of 274. It has 19% damage to targets out of cover. And the talents it has is deadly, self-preserved, and ferocious. And then also here we got a heavy magazine spring with 5% reload speed, 11% magazine size, and 11.20% rate of fire. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to the Firewall. Here the gear vendor has a prototype stamina mod with 256 stamina and 3,328 health. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to the Crypt. Here the weapons vendor has a rugged mini reflex sight with 7.50% crit hit chance, 2% accuracy, and 6% headshot damage. And then also I mention this because I'm here in case anybody likes this gun. We got an ACR. It has a gear score of 270. It has 23% enemy armor damage. And the talents it has is responsive, brutal, and meticulous. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to West 31st Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone gear vendor has an operator pack with the talent Inventive on there. It has a gear score of 267. The armor is 1,219. Its roll for electronics 1,154. And the attributes it has is skill power and disrupt resistance. For our next gear items, you're going to head over to West 34th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a prototype performance mod with 7% support station duration. For our next gear items, you're going to head over to West 39th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a prototype performance mod with 5% sticky bomb explosion radius. For our next gear item, we're going to head over to West 42nd Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a Spec Ops armor with a talent Vigorous on there. It has a gear score of 267. The armor is 1,896. Its roll for electronics 1,119. And the attributes we have here is enemy armor damage, health on kill, and ammo capacity. For our next gear items, you're going to head over to West 46th Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a Tactical Vector 45 ACP with a gear score of 279. It has 22% crit hit chance, and the talents it has is Hurried, Unforgiven, and Ferocious. And also here we got a Spec Ops mask with the talent Refreshed on there. It has a gear score of 268. The armor is 929. Its roll for firearms 1,140. And the attributes it has is crit hit chance and burn resistance. And also here we got a prototype performance mod with 5.50% sticky bomb explosion radius. For our next gear items, head over to West 53rd Street checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a prototype firearms mod with 250 firearms and 3,181 health. And also here we got a vertical grip Wolf Gray with 49.50% optimal range, 4% crit hit damage, and 2.50% stability. For our next gear item, is going to head over to East 64th Street checkpoint. Here, the Dark Zone gear mod vendor has a prototype performance mod with 5.50% first aid self-heal. For our next gear item, is going to head over to East 58th Street checkpoint. Here, the Dark Zone gear vendor has a tactical vest with the talent Rapid on there. It has a gear score of 274. The armor is 1,994. Its roll for firearms 1,153. And the attributes it has is health, skill haste, and ammo capacity. Also here we got a Spec Ops pack with the talent Relentless on there. It has a gear score of 268. The armor is 1,229. Its roll for firearms 1,163. And the attributes it has is skill power and ammo capacity. For our next gear item, is going to head over to the Park Ave checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone weapons vendor has an enhanced PP19 with a gear score of 273. It has 21% crit hit chance, and the talents it has is Fierce, Vicious, and Hurried. Also here we got Lova C with a gear score of 279. It has 20% enemy armor damage, and the talents it has is Predatory, Unforgiven, and Fierce. Also here we got an M870 Express with a gear score of 267. It has 331% stagger, and the talents it has is Destructive, Competent, and Sustain. And then also here we got a Black Market RPK 74E with a gear score of 260. It has 20% damage to targets out of cover. And the talents it has is Determined, Unforgiving, and Fierce. For our next gear item, is going to head over to East 40th Street Checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a Gunslinger's Vest with the talent Rapid on there. It has a gear score of 263. It has 1,712 armor. Its roll for electronics 1,123. And the attributes it has is enemy armor damage, all resistance, and increased kill XP. For our next gear item, is going to head over to East 34th Street Checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a tactical pack with the talent Specialized on there. It has a gear score of 275. The armor is 1,263. Its roll for electronics 1,213. And the attributes it has is health and disrupt resistance. And then also here we got a prototype performance mod with 7.50% support station range. For our next gear item, is going to head over to East 31st Street Checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a tactical mask with the talent Tenacious on there. It has a gear score of 285. The armor is 1,001. Its roll for stamina 1,269. And the attributes it has is health on kill and burn resistance. For our next gear item, is going to head over to the 5th Ave checkpoint. Here the Dark Zone vendor has a police M4 with a gear score of 265. It has 22% enemy armor damage. And the talents it has is Adept, Responsive, and Intense. And also here we got a tactical vest with the talent Reckless on there. It has a gear score of 265. The armor is 1,738. Its roll for firearms 1,177. And the attributes it has is skill, haste, exotic damage, resilience, and ammo capacity. For our next gear item, is going to head over to DZ2 Safe Room. Here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a operator mask with the talent Enduring on there. It has a gear score of 273. The armor is 991. Its roll for electronics 1,130. And the attributes it has is crit chance and increased kill XP. Also here we got a Gunslinger's Vest with the talent Vigorous on there. It has a gear score of 275. The armor is 1,984. Its roll for stamina 1,160. And the attributes it has is health on kill, exotic damage, resilience, and ammo capacity. Also here we got a tactical pack with the talent Relentless on there. It has a gear score of 276. The armor is 1,284. Its roll for firearms 1,234. And the attributes it has is crit damage and burn resistance. For our next gear item, is going to head over to DZ8 Safe Room. Here the Dark Zone gear vendor has a tactical mask with the talent Tenacious on there. It has a gear score of 273. The armor is 892. Its roll for electronics 1,269. And the attributes it has is enemy armor damage and burn resistance. Alright everybody, that's it for our Tom Clancy's The Division vendor reset video for December 13th, 2019's reset. I hope everybody who tuned into it found them something good or something that they needed. Thank you everybody who subbed to the channel. Thank you to everybody who's showing me that love and support, dropping them likes. Thank you to everybody who's coming through to the streams too when I'm streaming The Division or any other game I'm streaming. Thank you, I appreciate that. And I will holler at y'all with the next video. Alright everybody, take care, peace.